mbokk yi ñu ngi leen a gërëm bu baax di leen dalal ci biir kër gi am mbégte lool del soit ak yéen ci programme bi lee mooy di Morning Star ñu leen cee dalal nag di ci ànd ak suma jigéen jëlee muy Maimouna jaaju ci biir kër gi ñu fas yéene indi leen lépp loo xam ne mu ngi aju ci xibaar ci suba teel si la mu bàyyi ko nag ci kayiti xibaar yi ak li nga xam ne it mooy njëg li jëlee ci marché bi ak li koppari réew mi di wàcc wenjë ko koppari bitim réew waaye dinañ ceetit yeneen i xeeti xibaar surtout yi nga xam ne mooy news yi jot a jàllale ci news bi démb ci guddi ak li nga xam ne moo gën a fees ci social media bi lépp dinañ ko seet si biir programme bi lépp muy di Morning Star ñu ànd ceeg Maimouna ñu ngi laa nuyu naka suba si
suba saa fi sant yàlla alhamdulilah di nuyu képp ki nga xam ne mu ngi seetaan Star TV di Morning Star right now ñu jaajëfal leen bu baax a baax di leen di dalal si Wednesday edition of the Morning Star.
ñu ngi laa jaajëfal yow it bu baax a baax di nuyu sa waa kër kan moo la ci dee gën a sonal ma nuyu ko su ko defee ma neexal ko soo dematee du la wax dara wax ma rek kan moo gën a soof seen kër ku la dee sonal.
suma rakka.
sa rakka waan
bu jigéen.
sa rakka bu jigéen.
waaw.
lu mu la wax lu la naxari déedéet kay dina leer de man wala maa attaque nit ki kay ma bu ko dama ko bañ a attaque mu ñëw ne ma yow ndax xam nga lan laa jotee moom.
foofu si loolu la de everyday mu am lu moo wax man everyday mu am lu moo wax.
yaa moom kan a sut.
maa ko sut tuuti de.
yaa ko sut.
waaw.
kan a ëppa.
moom moo ëpp.
mbaa duñ leen.
jërë ba lu yow.
xam nga léegi-léegi daf leen nekk rakka yoo xam ne da ngaa génn ñu foog ne moo la mag.
moom sax noonu la day behave daf di behave ni moo mag.
ah ok gis nga xam nga man mag laa rek dama fi yàgg tuuti. astafurlah.
yaa wax de.
dig ma wax loo rek wóor na yàlla dig ma wax loo. anyway dinaa ko wax mu bàyyi la parce que xam nga rek soo amee mag goo xam ne nii mooy loolu.
mooy loolu si la.
man am na suma benn mag boo xam ne man maggu ndaw laa ko tuddee.
mag bu ndaw
waaw parce que mag la waaye man soo maa ko ëppa maa ko sut wala sax ñoo tolloo waaye maa ko ëppa dafa tuuti bañ a mag moo tax maggu ndaw laa ko dee wooyee. anyway ñu ngi nuyu sa waa kër bu baax di nuyu waa Dipakunda surtout ñu nekkee fële ca naka laa ko tuddee sax fan lese nañ nuyu waa Ngéyeen rek waa Saareen suma waa kër di nuyu suma yaay ju baax suma yaay bu baax a baax muy yaa Jaara Diouf ak paa bi di Mouhamed Lamine Gueye di nuyu ñoom Ramou Sarr di nuyu ñoom Fana Sarr di nuyu ñoom Awa Yombe ñoom Aminam ñoom Alaji Sakho di nuyu ñëpp ñoom Ndey Ngom ñëpp ñu ngi leen nuyu di nuyu suma séeri koko ñoom Seynabou Diallo di nuyu ñëpp ci kër gi ak xale yi bàyyuñ kenn ñu ngi leen di wax rek ne nii la incha allahu rabbi dañoo dem break bu ñu del suwaatee ñu seet li nga xam ne moo ne ci marché bi ñu baaxee ko askan wi ci programme bi la moo di Morning Star. ca su ko defee ñu del suwaat ak yéen ci programme bi la mooy di Morning Star ñu cee gërëm ñëpp ci beneen yoon li ñoo def rek mooy doxantu ndànk dem ci marché bi seet li fa ne su ko defee ñu baaxee ko askan wi ci programme bi la li ci mel ni American Backo Fries bi nga xam ne moom lañ tàmbalee mu ngi toll ci $2,100 saaku sadam moom la ñu gis ne mu ngi toll ci $3,200 ñu gis saaku bara bi it ci $2,500 saaku sukur moom mu ngi toll ci $2,300 saaku li ñoom ñu gis ko ci $900 20 litre gallon bu diwlin mu ngi toll ci $2,100 ñu gis 10 litre bi mu toll ci $1,150 waaye it 5 litre bi mu ngi toll ci $650 muy diw bi nga xam ne mooy nelaw bu dul nelaw nag mu ngi toll ci $750 20 litre gallon bu diwtiir mu toll ci $2,500 saaku foriñ toll ci $2,150 ñu gis saaku pompiteer ci $900 tamaate marita carton bee ngi toll ci $1,150 mooy 2 kilo bi benn pot bi toll ci $225 ñu gis beef muy ndawal kese nga xam ne raxul benn yax mu toll ci $450 meat and bone toll ci $400 waaye carton ngi ginaar yi la nga xam ne fukki ginaar ci ne surtout bi nga xam ne mooy peese 1.2 mu ngi toll ci $1,800 bi nga xam ne mooy peese 1.3 mu ngi toll ci $2,000 benn full chicken bi peese 1.2 mu toll ci $200 bi nga xam ne mooy peese nag 1.3 mu toll ci $225 carton gi chicken legs mu toll ci $1,250 ñu gisit benn kilo bi toll ci $150 chicken wings carton bi mu ngi toll ci $1,350 muy njëg li nga xam ne moom la ñu jot a bàyyi xel ci marché bi kon ku bàyyi xel lii di nga xam nag ngay waajale sa bopp laata ngay génne dem fépp fu mu mën a ne surtout ci tund bi la ñu toll mooy di Kanifing municipality ma rafet jorte it ne ci Banjul sax ku fa dem ku ne li nga ko am ci njëg li la wala sax li moo am li wute ci njëg li du bari lool waaye ñu dem seeti the currency update muy maanaam lan la xaalis réew mi di wécci ko koppar bitim réew ñu jëlee ko nag fële ci Central Bank of the Gambia ñu gis American US dollar bu toll ci 71.58 ñu gis euro bi toll ci 84.77 the Great British Pound mu toll ci 95.26 Swiss franc bi toll ci 84.52 Swedish krona bi toll ci 601.07 Canadian dollar bi toll ci 51.02 CFA bi toll ci 601.07 Norwegian krone bi toll ci 712.62 Danish krone bi toll ci 1177.10 Saudi Riyal bi toll ci 19.09 Japanese yen bi mu ngi toll ci 47.53 This is the currency update courtesy of the Central Bank of the Gambia. You're watching us live from Star TV and we're going for a short break, and then when we return we'll take a look at the news. All right, welcome back to the Morning Star. This is coming to you live and direct from our studios along the OIC Highway or the Battle Harden Highway. Anyway, we're glad to be back this morning together with Maimuna, and of course, it's time to take a look at the newspapers, followed by some analysis. And Maimuna is definitely going to take us through. Maimuna, good morning.
Good morning once again, and welcome to the newspaper review segment. We have the Standard and that of the Point newspaper, so we going to take a look at what's on the front page of the Standard and that of the Point newspaper. So the headlines on the Standard, we have GPA cannot consent to Alport's Zenith Bank loan. We have NPP gives $8 million scholarship to university students. Gambia at PIU Assembly, a Ministry of Land asks to submit documents of all Jammeh's leased assets. We have new organizing secretary of UDP speaks. Senegalese journalist who fled through Gambia arrested in France. Africell deepens environmental commitment with tree planting and boreholes in the CRR. On the Point newspaper, we have UK woman says police arrested wrong person in PIU shooting case. We have ASF France leads continental push for digital rights at the ACH PR forum in Banjul. We have Madjambal Jain arrested in France over suspicious financial transactions. Africell strengthens environmental action in Central River region. MD Jabate rebuses claims of mortgage in Banjul port. We have health officials defend 37 million vehicle procurement in Sweet Plus project. Yes. Those are the headlines we have on the Standard, and that of the Point newspaper. The Voice is here to come. We move to the Point, the Standard newspaper, which says GPA cannot consent to Alport's Zenith Bank loan by Tabora Bojang of the Standard newspaper. The managing director of Gambia Ports Authority, Usman Jobate, has made it categorical clear in an official letter leaked online and addressed to Turkey's investor Al Bayrak that his institution cannot and does not consent to a loan agreement between it and Zenith Bank as currently structured, since it does not fall within the financing agreement signed with them. The GPA noted that the Al Banjul Limited executed a project financing loan agreement with Zenith Bank on the 3rd October 2025 for an amount of approximately 13.55 million euros, reportedly to finance part of the Banjul port. The concession agreement and the shareholders agreement contemplated that 19 million euros investment will be provided by Al Bayrak as equal. However, if the investment or any portion thereof is now to be financed through debt rather than equity, and the loans is to be obtained in the name of Alport Banjul Limited for purposes of rehabilitation work, such facility must be solely guaranteed by Al Bayrak in accordance with clause 5.3 of the shareholders agreement. MD Jobate wrote to Al Bayrak. He further argued that GPA's 20% shareholding in Alport Banjul Limited is a non-cash equity contribution representing a right of use, adding that the GPA bears no financial liability for Al Bayrak's debt or obligations. All borrowings are liabilities under the Zenith Bank facility remains solely those of Alport Banjul Limited and its shareholder Ibarak, and not the GPA or the government of the Gambia, MD Jobate's letter stated. The Standard contacted MD Jobate with a question as to whether the said loan facility has already been given by Zenith Bank, but he declined to confirm, saying, "We are not the ones contracting the loan." He added, "Our letter is very clear and unambiguous. Taking a loan is governed by the shareholders agreement, so Al Barak just have to represent those provisions, but GPA's assets should be encumbered pledged to as collateral, and there should no liability on the government. If Al Bayrak fulfill those documents and then bring the term sheet, then we can now review it." Taking a loan is governed by provisions in the concession agreement, which is that it need our prior approval. We did not even look into the terms of the loan itself. We are just querying the process that it took. The Gambia government entered into a 30-year concession agreement with Al Bayrak to invest and take over all operation activities of the Banjul ports for 6 years and the building and operation of a new port in Sanyang for 24 years. Earlier this month, it was reported that the Al Bayrak Group has signed the said loan agreement with Zenith Bank Gambia at a ceremony graced by the general manager of Zenith Bank and regional director, as well as Al Bayrak General Manager Yunus Yilmaz, who described the loan agreement as a breakthrough for the sector. This milestone is not only significant for the current project, but also a crucial step towards encouraging greater involvement of commercial banks in further phase of port development. Yilmaz was quoted as saying.
Wow.
Yes.
I think
So
they made
it
their
has-
stand very clear.
Yes, by the GPA, Gambia Ports Authority. So I think the loan has to do with Alport and that of Al Bayrak.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it's good they've come out to
Make some clarities
make
with
some
regards
clarity.
to
Yeah,
that.
exactly, because su leen soo leen si bokku daal bokku leen si su leen warut leen.
Yes.
So it's better ñu clear ko parce que at the end of the day suñ ko deful tamit fële la ñoo taxaw di leen ŋaañal lu ci am ëllëg tam ñoom la ñoo ŋaañal. So
So
it's good.
Communication is
especially-
something very important. When such issues happen, I think the best thing to do is make your clarities, and we're good to go. But sometimes things that happen, we find it very difficult to obtain even information from those people involved. So I think it's something very important when such things happen, make some clarities and everything is done. But at the end of the day, things will happen. You will contact them for maybe questioning or even letter them in regards to law. They find it very difficult to even tell you what's the reality.
Yeah, because like now, especially Fini, the concession agreement and the stakeholders agreement contemplated that 19 million euros investment would be provided by, Al Bayrak and, as equity as equity. Yeah. So, however, if the investment or any portion, therefore, is now to be financed through debt rather than equity, and the loan is to be obtained in the name of Alport Gambia Limited for purposes of rehabilitation work. Ak yooyu noonu so am nga comme li ma wax mooy because gis nañ time signé deal bi sax anyway cool yi indi woon ak yooyu noonu so especially the issue of this 20% ak stuff like that so nit ñu bari dañ ci yëy yàbbi dañ ci xam nga wane ne xam nga it's not a good deal nangam ak nangam ak nangam so su fekkee ne with this loan diggante Zenith Bank ak Alport and stuff like that amul dara pour dafa di Gambia Ports Authority tam it's good gars yi génn ñu clarify pour wane ne xam nga du ñoom ñile la moo tax mu ngi ko jëmala jëre question sax mu ngi ko ne in fact du ñoom la so anything that has to do with this loan it's between them and Zenith Bank so I think it's better they come out to clarify and stuff like that but foog daa letter bi dafa leak is it
Yeah, it was leaked online.
so not na ñoom ñoo ko publish then dafa leak
Yeah,
but they didn't deny it anyway because gis naa gay standard contact ko
Yeah, took action then.
okay
Move to the next one, which says NPP gives $8 million scholarship to university students by Aminata Kuyate of the Standard. The National People's Party on Tuesday awarded scholarships worth $8 million to 120 Gambian university and tertiary students as part of its annual initiative to support education and youth empowerment. It is the second time that the party awarded scholarships to needy and deserving Gambian students. Demba Sabeli, first vice president of the NPP, said the education assistance is part of the party's commitment to creating opportunities for young Gambians to pursue their dreams without financial constraint. This year, we are proud to support our brightest young minds with scholarship totaling to $8 million out of the 120 beneficiaries. 80 are enrolled in degree programs, while the rest are pursuing other tertiary studies. This is not a cost, it is an investment in the human capital of our nation and in the future of the Gambia, Honorable Sabali said. The NPP Administrative Secretary, CDCC, and other speakers encouraged the beneficiaries to remain focused, responsible, and dedicated to their studies. Education is not a cost, but an investment in the future of our young ones, Mr. Cisse remarked. Parents and guardians were also commended for their sacrifice in supporting their children's academic journey. The ceremony ended with words of encouragement to the awardees.
wow
Yes, it's a great initiative by the National People's Party. So this is something commendable, and I hope they will continue doing such, because only when it comes to the university, so many people are out there. You have a whole lot of issues. Pour mun a gis na mun nañoo finance seen jànga bi. Others then they even differ seen courses yi xam nga dem liggéey put together some money nga mun a gis ne nga mun a continue that of your sa degree programme. So the NPP coming up with such something very important, and it's very commendable also.
no foog naa because li xam nga de li lañ séntu ci réew mi anyway because da nga fulfill sa sa promises yi and then nga ñëw xam nga to assist in some of these areas as well because especially ñu ne nekk ci réew moo xam ne imaginal some of this business nañ bàyyangum sax bu that of NPP dama la bëgg a jox benn exemple rek am na yenn business entity yu nekk ci dëkk bi fii nii ci réew mi ñoo xam ne they only there to make profit. They're not giving back to the society. They're not giving back to the people. Nekkuñ di fulfill seen corporate social responsibilities. Understand? These are some of the things you have ne mun nga koo def if you really wanted to help the youths. Nañ génna ñu support. Nañ génna dem ci communities yi dimbale leen xam nga dimbale communities yi li nga xam am na there are basic things yoo xam ne nit ñi soxla nañ ko ngeen génna dimbale leen politicians as well this is very commendable nañ génna ñu dem ci dem UTG yeneen place yaa ngi fi ñu dimbale xale yoo xam ne nii mënuñ ko afford there are so many students with good grades amuñ that financial support amuñ scholarship amuñ dara ñu ngi struggle day in day out just to go to the university am na ñoo xam ne dañoo dem ba ci biir sax duñ mën a tey continuer parce que amuñ kenn ku leen fayal so the government should definitely come in but not only the government but private sectors as well
individuals
exactly individuals oppositions and political parties again, it's not all about ñëw sell ñu sa agenda tell us what your points are. This is your manifesto. This is your nangam. At least contribute to this as well. Ngeen def ko ba tey dama la jox benn exemple dina am koo xam ne daf koo gisee ngaaña parce que mu ngi xelam mu ngi daj ci 2026 mu ngi ñëw so elections yaa ngi ñëw lii mooy tax muy def nangam but no man du ma ko gisee noonu ndimbal la rek ñëw na because gis nañ fi Yankuba Dabo of the Brikama Area Council ñaata students la gars yi fayal pour ñu dem university elsewhere tam gis nañ ko fa so it's something good but at the end of the day dinañ gën a ñu criticize ko dañ gën a nanoo xam nga dafa am yeneen yoo xam ne soo ko defee sax anyway because of dafa naxaree justify dafa naxaree defend because of ñu ngi approach to elections so people will see it as inducement ak nangam but no man I
think this is the second time
this exactly loolu laa la wax they should be doing it we have other politicians as well. We have other political parties. We have other business entities. They've got the money and they really needed to support. At least, let's say I'm being a company trying at least like a sponsor like 5 students CUTGB or 10 students or whatever. Why you would like that?
Yeah.
Why you would like dara so this is something definitely good parce que nit ñi dañ bëgg a jàng am na ñoo xam ne dañ bëgg a jàng ci biir réew mi waaye amuñ support and they've got good grades they cannot go to university even to tertiary institutions they cannot go to because they amuñ kenn koo xam ne moo leen a fail so it is definitely commendable man like naa ko trop because maa ngi ko doon seetaan démb si news bi anyway ma ne okay that's a good thing but li ma la wax la rek yow da ngaa gisee fii but keneen dina gisee fële parce que dinañ ko ñaaka dinañ ko criticize because dañoo jàppale élections yaa ngi ñëw di nga gis koo xam ne criticize na ko sax xëy na partem defoon na ko sax waaye fàtte na loolu just because of election ak ñëw ak yooyu but this is definitely good.
Yeah, commendable. We move to the next one, which says Gambia at IPU Assembly by Aret Jatta. In a powerful address to the Inter-Parliamentary Union Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland, Honorable C.D.S. Kenjai, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly of the Gambia, has underscored the critical importance of upholding humanitarian norms and supporting humanitarian actions during times of crisis. He emphasized that the Gambia views humanitarianism not as an abstract concept, but as a deeply ingrained national value rooted in its constitution and demonstrated through its action both domestically and internationally. The Deputy Speaker also highlighted the Gambia's commitment to protecting human dignity and equality as enshrined in its constitution and its effort to domesticate international conventions such as the Geneva Convention and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. He noted the crucial role of a parliament, particularly the standing committees on defense and security and human rights and constitutional matters in ensuring these principles are upheld. Honorable Njai also referenced the Gambia's concrete actions in terms of crisis, such as its swift response to the devastating floods of the 2022 and its support for refugees from the Casamance conflict. Furthermore, he reiterated the Gambia's unwavering support for the state of Palestine, condemning the violation of international human laws by Israel. The speakers called for a just and lasting peace, emphasizing the undeniable rights of Palestine people. The Gambia's commitment to global justice was also highlighted by its historic stance at the International Court of Justice in defense of the Rohingya people of Myanmar. In conclusion, Honorable Njai urged the Assembly to strengthen the international framework for safeguarding humanitarian principle, ensuring that humanitarian aid is never politicized and that international humanitarian law is enforced without discrimination. He emphasized that upholding humanitarian norms is a test of shared humanity and collective integrity, calling for the Assembly to act as the consensus of humanity to preserve the moral soul of the world. Quite interesting.
No, but I'm gonna the thing is because being a read, my phone hit that okay, them the time began with the defend the Rohingya Muslims and then they stand towards supporting the people of Palestine and stuff like that. So I don't have the story be end and then I said that because we're known for we have underscored a critical importance of holding humanitarian norms and supporting the humanitarian actions during crisis, definitely, because time when you support the Rohingya Muslims, then Gambia can hamuko you bari hamunyon Gambia, a tiny Gambia, small Gambia, it was not going to make an impact, and then but all of a sudden the attention it gains, and then people all over the world were praising the Gambia for doing such. So let's say for example, like with this powerful message, with this pitch, with all the support that the Gambia, gave to, the Rohingya Muslims and Palestine or whatever, fan la mo yobu Gambia to the global stage. Nan nga fag na the outside world, the view Gambia, being so supportive and in terms of crisis and stuff like that.
It's something very important te dafa gëna jox Gambia the opportunity to the wider world ñu mëna xam what is Gambia, lan mooy Gambia, ban dëkk la ak seen taxawaay when it comes to defending the rights of people. So mu doon loo xamante ne la it's very very important waaye amut suñu wee si wàllum defend loolu nga xamante ne moo nekk the rights of people, but tamit it's a way pour mun a gis ne ñoom tamit ñu mun a bàyyi seen xel balaa nga génna di maybe talk about the rights of people outside. I think the first thing nga war a bàyyi the rights of people yi nga xamante ne ñoo nekk sa biir dëkk as well, because of recent so many protests yi nga xamante ne daal dina xew fii, so many people are calling to the international bodies pour mun a gis ne mun nañu bàyyi seen xel with so many issues yi nga xamante ne mun doon go on, the issue of arresting people xam nga di detain guy unlawfully allegedly comme ni ko guy waxee. So it's something very important gis ne Gambia génn na go to such platform pour mun a gis ne mun nañoo address the entire world when it comes to such issues affecting the rights of people si nga xamante ne moo nekk si the wider world. So it's something very important pour mun a gis ne we have Gambians going out pour mun a gis ne they talk about it moo la woon ne ñu ngee bàyyi xel, and also we are playing a very impactful role when it comes to safeguarding the rights of people.
The Gambia in its swift response to devastating floods, and of course supporting the refugees from Casamas. Sir, how significant was that? Because when the flood occurred, and then the victims were definitely supported by the Ghanaian government, and then during conflicts in the Casamas region where we bordered with Senegal, understand, because if you take a look at the satellite villages around those areas, léegi sax soo xamul doo mën a ràññee fan la Gambie ak fan la Sénégal because we have so many porous borders ak yooyu noonu, but so many refugees coming into the Gambia, and then they were given support and stuff like that. How significant is that to the Gambia?
It's something very important because bu flood bi xewee I gis nañ how ñu respond very quickly, because I could remember, I think the former lead vice president Badara Alieu Diouf moo génnoon go to the places pour mun a gis na mun na moo waxtaan ak nit yu fa nekk and jox leen the assistance they needed, because flood bi bu mu xewee dafa jaaxal lu bëri when it comes to the food stuff. Béréb yi nga xamante ne foofu la gaay di dëkka seen bagage yi nga xamante ne yooyu la gaay di jëfandikoo. Most of them were lodged at I think St. Joseph High School in Banjul. You just got the humanitarian support they needed when it comes to food, cash, and also places in the Fugai Waradeka. When you just the Gambia Red Cross Society, they played a very important role when it comes to such, and also the issue of the refugees, Fishibir, Riumefi, Mudon no Hamantala, so them most of this. For region, most of the time, they fake a guy, because when such things happen, most of them feeling they're gonna
so go ahead now, because you should know better. Naka Sum, the village of Sum, then there is so many people. Do you have people crossing from Casamas coming to Sum to seek refuge?
Not to my knowledge, but what I can
because
say
Sum is so close to Casamas.
It's so close to Casamas.
There's no village between Sum and Casamas. I don't think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not to mine, but Luma Muna recall during the 2016 political impasse, when things were tense, most of them use that route for them to have various places in Casamas.
Time impasse.
Dem na so, but for I am.
No, I dawla. Can you get them some? Demolition before the elections. Demolition when the announcement was made, like the official results. When the announcement of the official results was made.
All I could say is
when Jame when Jame made the announcement by not accepting the results, by saying we are going back to the polls and stuff, and then everybody started running. Your time boobu nga dem sum.
Ah, yaa ngi wala óorut.
No, ba pare no time boobu nga dem sum.
Non.
Kañ nga dem sum. Because ñun we were here anyway, ñun kenn move. Ngàcce ngaalama ji fi toogoon fii réew mi ñu daw bari na de.
Ma ne, it's all the same.
Assane Ba sax dégg naa fa dem seen dëkk.
It's all the same.
Kaw subaa ji dem peñem.
Ah, peñ.
xaw ma juula xaw ma yóbbante waaye anyway dégg naa laa wax. dem na peñem.
Ah, kaw su peñem la dem.
Dégg naa dem na peñem di xaw ma nag. ba xam nga ñu bari dañ daw ci diggante boobu noonu.
Yes, so ñu bari nga xamante ne xamuñ toon seen place of origin. Seen place yi nga xamante ne duñ fa dee gaaw a dem sax during the political impasse gis nañ ñu bari demoon nañu.
waaye loolu du gàcce. loolu gàcce la no seriously su fekkee ne man I am from let's say for example I am from Sum or let's say maa nga jógee Kër Omar Mané ñu ngeen nuyu waa Kër Omar Mané yëpp di nuyu ñu nekkee Jokaadu di nuyu waa Ndugu Kebe boof Lowa Ñoomi Oppa Ñoomi ak Jokaadu parce que man foofu laa bokk anyway man Lowa Ñoomi Jokaadu ak Oppa Ñoomi yëpp ku ma kenn mënu ma ci génne waaye ñu ngeen nuyu waa Ndugu Kebe di nuyu waa nuyu waa Kër Omar Mané Kër Paate di nuyu waa Cila Jurunku di nuyu ñëpp ñu nekkee foofule li ma wax mooy su dee man maa ngi jógee foofu anyway parce que man suma papa fa la jógee suma yaay fa la jógee ok su ma jógee foofu noonu su dee man fa laa jógee lese xëy na man ñun ñëpp fii lañ juddoo but am na ñoo xam ne lese yaa nga jógee ci ob bi sa papa ak sa yaay sa lépp a ngi ci kaw gi nga ñëw Serekunda pour daan sa doole am na ñoo xam ne mën nañ fa toog 5 years duñ jaala féer bi sax xamatuñ ndax mu ngay jàllaleel nit ñi am déet dégg lañ ci am soo jaaluñ yow jaaluloo demuloo seeti sa famille di nga toog 2-3 years doo fa dem or 5 years demuloo fa impasse bi ñëw rek nga paak sa bagage da nga faa dem wallahi su doon man la marus faa dem na àndeen ñu bari loolu moo leen expose ñu bari after gàcce lañ am dañ daw aaga seen dëkk yi sax am rusa duga ci biir kër gi su ma doon borom kër gi wala may sa papa o sa nangam dinaa la ko xasee parce que yow su jaama rek amoon doo ñu tal so ñu bari dañ daw jamono jooju so da nga gis ne this is why it's important if the Casamance region it's definitely not stable and people are running from the Casamance region coming to the Gambia Gambia support them and stuff like that yow ëllëg ak sibir su la dalee tam same thing parce que Gambia kenn xamee ko loolu lu musta am anyway kenn xamee ko loolu xëy na time yi 81 am na nit ñi daw nañ génn dëkk bi ak yooyu noonu because of xeex bi ak yooyu but after that fan la amatee foog naa depuis si 2016 election impasse bi la because yi jot a xew ci diggante bi yëpp amul benn boo xam ne garaaw na ba nit ñi di daw di génn dëkk bi so jamono impasse bi yow mi doon dimbale nit ñi ñiy dawee from seen dëkk di ñëw sa biir dëkk yow yaa am problème gis nga bi nga dawee ñu bari dañ leen jàppale ci biti gis nañ ni ci Sénégal mel gis nañ feneen a feneen am na pôle yoo xam ne dellu nañ ci Guinée ñii dellu nañ ci Guinée Bissau ñii dellu nañ ci Sénégal no it's serious definitely te foog naa loolu lu mat a bàyyi xel la anyway
yes something important we move to I think the point in newspaper which says UK woman Jeeves says police arrested wrong person in PIU shooting case by Mamadou Jawo in a marathon testimony before Justice Ibrahima Jaita of the High Court in Banjul yesterday. Kathleen Meschi, a British national, stormed the courtroom as she declared that she has told the Gambian police they had arrested the wrong person in connection with the Sukuta traffic light shooting. Appearing as defense witness 10 in the ongoing trial involving Usainu Bojang and Ami Bojang, both accused of the fatal shooting of two police intervention unit officers. Ms. G told the court that she had informed the police that of their mistake upon learning that Usain Bojang had been arrested as the principal suspect. Ms. G, who resides in Burfoot, testified that Usainu was working for her at the time of the incident and insisted he had no link to the crime. Her testimony adds a dramatic twist to a case that just gripped national attention. Ms. G was the employer of Usain Bojang at an apartment in Brufut where Bojang had been working as a security guard for several years prior to his arrest in connection with the PIU shooting incidents. in response to the Defense Counsel Lamin J. Darbo's inquiry as to whether she knew the first accused, Usainu Bojang, Ms. G affirmed, yes, I first met Usainu Bojang back in 2010 when we bought our property in Brufut. His family lives next door to us. She further explained that Usainu had worked for her family for several years, serving as a security guard and assisting with gardening and property maintenance. Counsel Dabo asked the witness to specify the last time she spoke with Usainu by phone. Ms. G stated that the conversation took place on 12 September 2023 while she was in the United Kingdom. She confirmed that Usainu was at the compound in Brufut at the time of the call. When asked to recall the time of the conversation, Ms. G responded. The conversation started at roughly 18 minutes past 8 in the evening, Gambian time, that would be 21:18 UK time, and lasted for several hours until after midnight UK time. She explained that the discussion centered around Usainu's personal issues with his girlfriend. Ms. G further testified that Usainu had been seeking help due to threats made against by a local individual introduced to him by someone named Clauditude. She advised him to speak with Sharon, a neighbor who might be able to assist him in contacting the police. Upon being asked whether Usainu had gone to the police, Ms. G confirmed that she had visited the station on Monday, 11th September, where he spoke with two officers who introduced him to their senior, Yoro Sedi. Counsel Sedi then questioned whether Ms. G had interacted with Yoro Sedi. She replied that although she had not met him in person, she spoke to him on phone. This conversation occurred after Sharon Brown, a neighbor, contacted Ms. G on the evening of Usainu's arrest, distressed after receiving a call from Sedi. Sedi was attempting to confirm whether the individual arrested at Jululung was the same person who worked for Ms. G in Brufut. According to Ms. G, Sharon informed her that Usainu had been arrested on suspicion of shooting police officers at the Sukuta Jaban traffic lights. However, Ms. G expressed certainty that Usainu could not have been involved, as he had been in continuous communication with him via WhatsApp messages and voice calls from 8 p.m. onwards the previous night with no interruptions. She advised Sharon to have Sadie contacted her directly. Ms. G testified that she later spoke with Yoro Sedi, who claimed to be investigating Usainu's arrest during their conversation. She noted a loud commotion in the background and said he would call her back but did not. On 15 September, Ms. G sent Sadie a message reiterating her brief belief that the wrong person had been arrested, citing her hours-long WhatsApp communication with Usainu on the night of the alleged incident. She offered to provide copies of the messages as evidence. Counsel Dabo asked where the conversation with Usainu were stored. Ms. G explained that she had saved them on her phone computer to prevent loss and had subsequently emailed them to the authorities following Usainu's arrest. This is a lengthy...
According to her statement, Usainu was wrongfully arrested. Anyway, case be one of interesting.
It's very
every day didn't you but
in as much as Monksy, in as much as Monksy before the court, think we should
not definitely she is confident that Usainu was wrongfully arrested because mu ngi wone ne mom ci boppa inform na police ne ki du mom in fact bi incident bi day happen mom ci téléphone bi di waxtaan ak koku te koku yi won ci këram am naa ne ak lu mu ci mën a doon mooy ñu ngay witness yaa ngi ñëw ak yooyu noonu affaire si léegi tey mu yàgga def foog naa ñaata yes foog naa am na ñaari at te xamal ñaata at
2023 la xew
no nekk 2023 was it 23
or 2022
or something like that but yeah anyway loolu is interesting nañ jàlla dem ci leneen parce que lii moom nañ ko bàyyi code
yes we should allow the courts do
exactly
lu ñu war a def they listen to the final verdict yes I think most of the stories are repeated
waaw nañ mën nañoo jàlla dem seeti leneen
yes great
dem seeti leen parce que ñu ngi am 3 news stories from our news bulletin last night, and of course we'll take a look at those things, and then of course we'll have a topic of discussion, and to take a look at stories that are making rounds on social media as well. That should be it, right?
Yeah, for the newspaper.
Review. Well, we're going for a short break, and then when we return, we'll take a look at the news stories from our news bulletin last night. We'll come back shortly. All right, welcome back. And this is the Morning Star coming to you live from Star TV. Well, it's time to take a look at some of the news stories we had in our news bulletin last night. And of course, especially this one, the 88th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights has officially opened at the Sadauda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center in Banjul. The Gambia brings together stakeholders to tackle urgent human rights challenges across Africa, centered on the theme Justice for Africans and People of African Descent. The session emphasizes preparatory justice, accountability, and the protection of fundamental freedoms amid ongoing conflicts and socio-economic crisis. Mariama Dem attended the opening ceremony and filed in this report.
The 85th Ordinary Session of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, running from October 21st to 30th, 2025, gathers hundreds of government officials, representatives from international organizations, and civil society actors to address critical human rights challenges facing the African continent. Preceding the session were 2 significant events: the Forum of NGOs hosted by the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies from October 17 to 19 under the theme The Year of Reparation, and the pre-session Forum of States on October 19 and 28. These forums set the stage for the African Commission on Human and People's Rights discussions by highlighting present concerns and recommendations from civil society and state actors. Hannah Foster, Executive Director of the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies, delivered the NGO statement reflecting on the outcomes of the Forum of NGOs. She underscored the commitment of civil society organizations to collaborate with the African Commission in advancing democracy, human rights, and good governance across Africa.
Discussions reinforce the importance of reparations for addressing long-term effects of slavery, colonialism, systematic inequality, injustice and repression, with proposals to paving the way to address impunity. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to share also the fact that the forum adopted the Africa strategy for the forum, and we will also be sharing it with interested parties. I just wanted to also highlight the fact that the agenda featured 12 plenary panels addressing critical human rights issues across the continent.
Dr. Joseph Wattal, chairperson of the Network of African National Human Rights Institutions, NANRI, highlighted the worrying trend of shrinking civic space over the past year, noting the restrictive laws on association and assembly, harassment of journalists, and constraint on human rights defenders and opposition voices as factors eroding public trust and social cohesion. Also speaks on the pivotal role of national human rights institutions in documenting injustices, advocating for legal frameworks, and leading inclusive national processes.
Reparations extend beyond financial compensation. They represent a holistic process of restoring dignity, addressing deep-rooted inequalities, and acknowledging the enduring impact of slavery, colonialism, apartheid, and racial discrimination. The 7th AUC NANRI Policy Dialogue reaffirmed the central role of NHRIs in advancing this agenda by documenting historical and ongoing injustices, advocating for robust legal and policy frameworks, and leading inclusive national dialogues that place affected communities at the heart of reparatory processes.
The African Commission on Human and People's Rights, established under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and inaugurated in 1987, has its secretariat in Banjul. Its core functions include protecting and promoting human rights and interpreting the African Charter. The Commission consists of 11 independent commissioners elected by the African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government. His Excellency Ambassador Willie Nyamitwe, Permanent Representative of Burundi African Union, Permanent Representative of Burundi at the African Union, and Chairperson of the AU PRI-RC Subcommittee on Human Rights, Democracy and Governance, noted the session coincides with Africa Human Rights Day on October 21st, commemorating the African Charter's entry into force in 1986. This day, he said, symbolizes African states' collective pledge to uphold dignity, equality, and fundamental freedoms.
Commemoration is not only a celebration of progress, but also a moment for introspection. It calls on all of us, governments, AU organs, national human rights institutions, and civil society to reaffirm our shared responsibility in giving life to the Charter's provisions. While our continent has made significant progress through legislative reforms, institutional strengthening, and enhanced accountability mechanisms, we as member states recognize that important challenges remain.
Remy Ngoy Lombo, chairperson of the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, emphasized the importance of this session's theme, Justice for Africans and People of African Descent, stressing the obligation to address contemporary injustices. He highlighted that solution to Africa's historical injustices must also confront ongoing challenges that mirror past abuses under slavery and colonization.
It requires that not only our constant vigilance, but also our collective commitment to provide sustainable Congress. And the situation requires from us our determination and willingness to provide voice for the voiceless. We have a responsibility towards future generations and build a continent of human rights where human rights are respected but celebrated.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, Honorable Saring Modunjai, delivered a statement on behalf of the Gambian government calling for full commitment to human rights.
The time has come for Africa to move beyond commitment on papers. The protection of rights must become preventive, proactive, and result-driven. Allow me to propose several pathways forward. 1. We need to take the bold step to domesticate the African Charter and the Maputo Protocol into national institution and legislation. 2. Establish national human rights implementation committees to track compliance with African courts and Commission decisions.
During the 85th Ordinary Session, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights will engage in discussions on the human rights situation in Africa, review state-party reports, interact with national human rights institutions and NGOs, consider applications for observer status, review commissioners' activity reports, hold panel discussions, and examine communication and concluding observations. This session draws a vital moment in the Commission's ongoing mission to uphold the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, fostering dialogue, accountability, and strategic collaboration to protect and promote human rights across the continent. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News. The 85th Ordinary.
That was Maria Madem. Now, of course, the Intake 29 Alpha Solidarity Association marks its 80th anniversary over the weekend with a vibrant blend of celebration and strategic reflection during its annual general meeting. The event brought together members, alumni, and distinguished guests to honor nearly 2 decades of community service, solidarity, and growth. Maimuna Jaju has the rest of that story.
Held under the theme of unity and progress, the AGM served as a platform to review the association's achievements, elect new leadership, and chart future initiatives. discussions centered on the advancement of educational support programs, community health projects, and the association's expanding footprint in grassroots development. In his keynote address, President Sadio Seydi expressed deep pride in the association's journey, emphasizing its unwavering commitment to mutual support and social impact. He highlighted recent strides in education and health outreach, noting that the association's values continue to inspire meaningful change.
Another milestone in our collective journey as a family bound by friendship, unity, and a shared purpose. The AGM is not only a time to reflect on our achievements and challenges over the past years, but also an opportunity to renew our commitment to the values and objectives that brought us together. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I extended my sincere gratitude to all members of your continuous dedication, sacrifice, and an unwavering support towards the growth and success of this noble association. Kudos to you, 29A Alpha, the members. Clap for yourself.
Secretary General Staff Sergeant Yahya Kuli outlined key milestones from the past years, including successful community events, expanded membership, and impactful projects. He credited these accomplishments to the dedication and collaborative spirit of the members.
The review has witnessed significant achievements, milestone challenges, which I am pleased to highlight in the report. Our key activities include community service initiative. We conducted a cleansing exercise at the orphanage in Tubakuta under the care of the direct aid. This intervention did not only improve the sanitary conditions of the orphanage, but also helped to prevent the frequent fire incidents the institution used to experience prior to our intervention. The activity provided a healthier, safer environment for the children while demonstrating to serve the vulnerable communities. Member support. We actively participated in social functions of our members, such as naming ceremonies, wedding ceremonies, where the association provides both financial and logistical support. Funeral ceremonies where members come together to grieve, pray, and comfort the bereaved family. Our welfare and humanitarian assistance. We provide food and nutritional support during the month of Ramadan and Tobaski to the families of our deceased comrades and the sick members likewise. This was made possible through the generous assistance of the Direct Aid, the Gambia. We also contribute financially and logistical support towards the medical treatment of our sick comrades, ensuring they receive the necessary medical healthcare assistance.
Chief Guest of Honor and Honorary Father of the Association, Dr. Usainu Mahanera, shared heartfelt reflection on the Association's legacy. He praised the membership's resilience, unity, and transformative contributions to their communities.
To personally thank your association for joining me this year in two meaningful national initiatives, which are the clearing of the Kanifing Muslim Cemetery, which brought dignity and order to our final resting place. And also the cleansing service at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital branch, commonly known as Ndemban Clinic in Bakau, which reflected your discipline, teamwork, and love for humanity. This act demonstrates the commitment to service beyond self and perfectly reflects this year's theme, which is empowering members and serving community. You empowered yourself through unity and service your community with passion. Empowerment begins with unity, discipline, and shared growth. It is not only about financial capacity, but also about knowledge, mentorship, and moral support.
Dr. Mahanera also underscored the enduring bonds of brotherhood and the shared commitment to the association's founding principles. His remarks echoed the pride and gratitude felt throughout the gathering.
This is what we call brotherhood. It is loyalty and sheer sacrifice. You have stood together not only as colleagues, but as brothers, bonded by sheer value, discipline, and common vision. That did not begin today, but it began on the first day you are on roll. On the first day you came to the school, on the first day you call yourself, you decide to become a soldier or whatever to this nation. So this togetherness began that day. That's why even the fallen members are always remembered and their families are always been taken care of. Keep it up for that.
The celebrations feature tributes to founding members, recognition of outstanding contributions, and a solemn remembrance of deceased members. In a moving gesture, presentations were made to bereaved families, symbolizing the association's collective gratitude and enduring solidarity. The atmosphere was one of pride, reflection, and renewal.
All right, welcome back. Maimuna, you were there. You know, did this report, and of course, I just want you to share with us how colorful the event was, because I can see there were members and then alumni and some distinguished guests who were there to grace the occasion. So it was really a wonderful event, it seems.
Yes, I was not there. I only wrote
Oh,
the
you're not
story.
the report, Birek. Kan mo fa nekon?
Josephine.
Josephine mo fa nekon.
Yeah. Josephine mo fa nekon. So I think it's an association. I think it's Soldiers Land.
Yeah.
Yes. So they
29
formed
Alpha.
an association, whereas they help each other when it comes to when they have difficulties, when they have ceremonies, and also during social events like during Ramadan, and also during festive seasons like the Eid. They help one another.
That's good.
So during the event, with the footages I've seen, it shows that they also remembered some of their fallen heroes who died.
That was emotional.
Yes. So they give help to the families. We've seen in another video, someone was even crying bitterly. So
maybe he lost a friend.
yes, so
a dear friend.
something very important. I think it's very important, forming associations to help one another when it comes to
Because
in difficult
I had
times,
saying,
situations, helping one another.
They
And also
did
they
some
engage
cleansing
themselves in the
exercise
cleansing exercise in
and
hospitals,
at the hospitals and stuff.
cemetery, and think in Juswang, and also I think an orphanage in, is it Tubakuta or
No.
So
You
something
give
very
back to the
recommendable
people,
to the people. Helping one another. Japalante, something very important. Mu doon loo xamante ne daal dañ ko rafetlu daal. So I think yëpp dem na ko ñëw pour jàppalante bi la.
Exactly.
Because nit ku nekk yoo xamuloo jafe-jafe fu mu laa jotee. So maybe nga am a difficulty, the association of deemed it necessary, come together, put their money together. ñu gis ne mun na laa jàppale. So waaye du ñaaka façon association yi maybe weer bu dee da ngeen di am seen contributions as well.
moo tax nag ne bokkuma ci wóoru.
am seen contributions pour jàppale wante.
xamuloo fan la coono di dabee ëllëg. fan la jéeya di dabee ëllëg. kon su loolu amee yow di nga bokk ci ñi ñoo jàppale parce que kon bokk ci wóorut. su ñëpp àndee di def benn affaire te nga nekk ci kuréel boobu fexeel bokk ci parce que njëriñ rek la laa jural. imaginal dem ci lopitaan yi di bale lopitaan yi di leen dimbale dem ci baamel yi di ko bale dem ci yeneen communities yi. Anyway, they definitely did something great. Kudos
to them.
Yeah, Neng said the last news story, but this is an international story anyway. And news said Sudan remains gripped by, a brutal war that has stretched into its second year. The African Commission on Human and People's Rights has launched a fact-finding mission to investigate widespread human rights abuses across the country. Lamin Ba was the one who gave us, this story.
Since fighting broke out in April 2023 between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, millions of civilians have been caught in this crossfire. Reports from international rights groups detail indiscriminate attacks, mass killings, sexual violence, and forced displacement. More than 10 million people have been uprooted from their homes, making this the largest internal displacement crisis on the African continent. Families have fled from Khartoum, Darfur, and Kordofan, seeking refuge in Chad, South Sudan, and Egypt. During the 85th ordinary session of the African Commission held in Banjul, Sudanese delegates and human rights defenders raised urgent questions. Allegations of chemical weapons use were among the most serious. Chairperson Honorable Commissioner Hatem Asian responded that the Commission could neither confirm nor deny the claims.
There was also a question on chemical weapons. As far as we know, all the interviews that we conducted, all the witnesses that we heard, we didn't encounter that issue. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. We can't answer because nobody actually brought that up. Nobody complained.
Human rights organizations have accused both the Army and the RSF of targeting civilian areas, including homes, hospitals, markets, and schools. Witnesses describe widespread looting and destruction that has left millions without access to food, water, or medical care. When asked about the root causes of the war, Honorable Commissioner Solomon Eil Derso explained that their commission is using a different methodology that could not allow them to assess that situation.
Of its investigation doesn't extend beyond and above what those specific actors operating in Sudan have carried out. And therefore, it falls outside of, therefore, this issue, because it would require a methodology that is different from the methodology that we, as human rights entities, can deploy as far as this issue immediately is concerned. It would have required us actually to identify the sources and channels of support that is being deployed.
Freedom of expression has also come under attack. Journalists and human rights defenders face harassment, arbitrary detention, and enforced disappearance. Internet shutdowns and media restrictions have made it difficult to verify reports from conflict zones. For the first time, the Commission documented widespread destruction of property. Commissioner Solomon said, "This reflects a complete disregard for human life and its sanctity."
For the first time, the Commission actually documented and tried to speak to through this fact-finding mission. Finally, I think it's worth mentioning that one of the characteristic features of this war is the complete lack of regard, to the sanctity of human life, to the sanctity of bodily integrity of Sudanese. That this is a war that is fought on the bodies, lives, and livelihoods of Sudanese. And
women and girls have suffered some of the worst abuse. One Sudanese human rights group reported that some girls were sold for as little as $100. Sexual and gender-based violence has been used as a weapon of war in Darfur. Renewed ethnic violence has led to mass killings and the burning of villages, particularly targeting non-Arab communities, such as the Masalit. Honorable Commissioner Janet R. Salanjai confirmed that the Commission has recorded evidence of systematic sexual violence.
We documented a pattern of systemic and widespread sexual violence targeting women, using sexual violence as a weapon of war to intimidate, to instill fear, and to dehumanize communities. We have evidence of rape, gang rapes, and sexual slavery, and all forms of violence. These are things that came out. And some of these happened within the context of what was happening during the war, even in refugee and internally displaced persons camps, and some of the witnesses who gave testimonies who are in other countries, because we had witnesses who gave testimonies to us from other countries where they're seeking refuge. All this,
both within Sudan and outside. The United Nations and other international bodies have condemned the atrocities and called for accountability. Despite these calls, both sides continue to defy ceasefire agreements. The path to justice and peace remains uncertain as the war drags on. Sudan civilians continue to suffer the most. Trapped between armed factions and stripped of their rights, they endure a conflict that shows no sign of ending. Lamin Ba, Star TV News. Since fighting broke out in April 2023 between the Sudanese Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces. Millions of civilians have been...
Well, that was the last news story, and of course we're going for a short break, and then when we return, we will take a look at some stories that are making rounds on the social media. Coming back shortly after this. All right, now I think it's time to take a look at some stories that are making rounds. And of course, to begin with, let's go straight to the Alkamba Times. Maimuna B. Mohamnane, because teachers, most of the times, when the one, they call them rat, my runaway teacher. Like a teacher who buy film, them into journalism, or them neka nurse, neka doctor, you neki ratla or whatever. It's a runaway teacher and stuff like that. But B, mansuma boram kuki samana wow. B mom, this is really amazing because it's in a remarkable career pivot. Zakaria Sanyang, a former mathematics and physics teacher, has traded the chalkboard for flight plans. Transitioning from a classroom in Fonyi in the Gambia to a licensed flight dispatcher with distinction. So boom, it's definitely something remarkable. After 9 years of shaping young minds at Mayok Senior Secondary School, Sanyang embarked on a new journey in September 2024, joining the aviation industry with Waves Company Limited. His story, marked by determination and academic excellence, highlights the power of transferable skills and the courage to pursue bold new paths. So this is definitely good. Yeah. From being a teacher to been having a been a licensed dispatcher with distinction. Jambar la de.
Mashallah. Ko ndokal rek ko di ko ndokal ko congrats.
No daf ci dé ba sa légui légui nek ci fil bi ba ci kanam nga bay ko fa dem seeti leneen. Dafa melni rek man suma waron na bay li ma def ni sax dem nekk soldat. Hay dang ma ci xeeb may mëna. Légui rébo moy wax la. Légui yow man mënuma doon soldat. Parce que
waxuma.
Légui lan mo waral rébo?
Dara.
Anyway, but let me improve working because definitely Zakaria Sanyang definitely definitely we said I'm interested in case being it's story being wow, from being a teacher to a licensed flight dispatcher.
It's something commendable. Teaching field bi gis na ne ñu bari dal dañ fa dé nek way dem ba ci kanam rek nga gis ko dive.
Dafa amul koppar ndax
most of the time I could see most of these journalists also ñu bari ci ñom teaching field bi len starté
after you venture into journalism
pursuing into journalism. So mu doon lo xamantene sometimes good nga lambatu fenen set fenen. So it's important and also very commendable. Congratulations to I think Mr. Sanyang. So I hope lepp tamit Dubai field bi go mu dem ci li nga xamantene mo nekk soldier.
kon diga am soxla billahi.
Na sinaka
curfew la defal
curfew
8 o'clock da nga tida
man ken
yo ken akay
am na musuma
taw ke dama ko police 8 o'clock dal na tida
kon de so demé do am sax
su teddu rek ngeen ñew wax
yalla so demé bul am
baxna 8 o'clock dal man leen 8 o'clock na dem
yalla so demé bul am
wa xam nga it's not something bad anyway because if I can teach nga dem ba ci biir and then nga feel na come on
you need to do something
else now. It's better nga bay ko fa dem seeti leneen because bay ko fa tam am na ñeneen ñoo xam ne tam def got passion for teaching, so ñooñu ñeneen ñu ngi graduate ñu ngi ñëw ak yooyu noonu, so this is something good.
Very commendable.
It's commendable. It's commendable. Let's go to the Fatu Network. The Gambia's ambassador to Guinea, Ami Fabre, has presented her letter of credence to President Amadi Doumbouya at the Mohammed V Palace in Conakry. The Gambia's ambassador to Guinea. So during the ceremony, Ambassador Fabre, conveyed President Barrow's greetings and emphasizes the Gambia's determination to strengthen relations with Guinea in areas such as trade, agriculture, tourism, and sports. So President Doumbouya welcomed the new ambassador and expressed his readiness to work closely with the Gambia to promote peace, economic growth, and regional cooperation. So, because it's good that them at this submit a letter of credence to the president. But settle some of the things you have done. Hearing because strengthened between the Gambia and Guinea in terms of trade, agriculture, tourism and sports. Let's begin with trade. Nan nga gisee trade between the Gambia and Guinea. For now,
the trade between Gambia and
Guinea. Are goods coming in from Guinea? Goods going out from the Gambia going to Guinea, or we wanted to? She put it on the anyway.
Yes. Most of the time, the next motor dal send 7 passengers. Sarsa ko ben fence dal.
No, camion you jóge Guinée ñoo nga ay 7 passengers.
Most of the time 7 passengers leen dégg.
Waxuloo camion yi.
Dañ ko dee sarse ba mujj doo dee mun a gis moto bi.
Waxuloo yeneen yi ñoo ay banana yi ay wis nga dem si seen garage.
Yes.
Non suñ takkee bagage yi si kaw. Su moto bi sama solte sa bagage bi du daanu.
So trade bi mu ngi xew because dañ dee gis most of the time dañ dee génnee bagage in Guinée indi ko fi si Gambie fii du ñàkk tamit dañ am bagage yi nga xam ne dañ ko génnee si Gambie
fan noonu
soo demee seen marché bi
waaw ñan seen marché bi
Guinée marché Guinée ni
ok
dañ di fekkee gaa ñu ngi yëngatu si wàllum trade bi
li ma bëggoon a wax dama koo bàyyi yow réalise loo ko sax waaye dama koo bàyyi déedéet gàllam dama koo bàyyi ko xaaral ma xeset suma noppay rek te bàyyi ko
la laa wax
déedéet dañ def rek du ma la wax loo wax anyway
li nga def baaxut de
waxuma dara bi
déedéet dafa am
waaw waxatal nga turi dëkk bi nakal tudd
xaw ma
xam nga ñu bëri jine lañ dee wax man jine luy jommalaate laa si am ñu bëri jine lañ dee wax
xanaa naka la
du jine di
naka la
mu nga joolaa mun ta wax cere kere la moo wax
la
kere waaw kere ak suma mbokki bari bu kay yooyu kere futo kere joolaa mun ta wax ak lanati joolaa mun ta wax géej la moo waxal géej so moo tax gis loo nga ne jine du yow kenn rek ñu bari yow jine
Guinée
is Guinée
laa wax
non yow jine nga wax man dama foog ne da nga am ay sa maam daf la jox ay jine sax yu ma jombal but anyway to strengthen some of these areas, strengthening in some of these areas is definitely something good. And then if you take a look at, the movement between the Gambia and, and Guinea, people coming from the Gambia going to Guinea, people coming from Guinea, more especially from Guinea to the Gambia, because we have so many fullers all the way from Guinea, and then New Jale Bagas.
Business.
Exactly, almost every now and then, so to strengthen that, obviously, it's something, commendable and stuff like that in terms of agriculture, in terms of tourism, people, coming in and out, that's definitely good, And then the beautiful thing is as well, he is ready because he expressed, his readiness to work, closely with the Gambia to promote peace, economic growth, and the regional cooperation in between, the Gambia, Senegal, and so it's something good.
Very
because security-wise, what's happening between the Gambia and Senegal. Ni danga defe fi tuuxi buuna nga daw dem Senegal ñu apprehend la foofu doon ñu téye la and then ñu extradite la nga ñëwaat to the Gambia tam the same thing we are doing the same thing so xam nga
mën nañ ko extend to other countries as well.
Exactly moo tax ma ne the regional cooperation dafa important trop pour ñu dëggal ko
dafa gën a dëgëral diggante bi the only barrier will be the issue of communication, maybe the mode of communication. We speak English, I think.
No, not a problem. No, that's not a problem.
Maybe that could be an issue because
that's not a problem.
Most of the time, Thomas, if you go to France, maybe pull like you, but that should not be a hindrance.
I'm going to be an advantage, Monica, see these francophone countries. They learn to speak English.
Yeah.
But Anglophone countries, we don't learn to speak French. ñeneen si ñun seetlu ko sax bi ñu dem school French jabe dafa dugg sax nga génn. But you go to francophone countries, they learn to speak English. In Senegal, they will speak English. Waaye speech Jomaay Faye bi moom dama ko waroon a indi tey sax because ñëpp a ngi ko TikTok non speech boobu noonu moo daxa suba la Tabaski.
try na.
nu mu doon pronounce word seeg yooyu noonu.
olof anglais yi li fi la anglais Sénégal la nekkoon di laaka.
non waaye boobu ni ko ga
I love the tone.
yeah ba pare ni ko gars yi di TikTok sax moo gën a defi anyway gaa ngi cee def lu am solo tey si suba moom laa njëkk a déglu bi ma eewoo tam ma ree bi ba de xam nga maa ngi ñëw di la ko woon ne la déggal jomaay li ko gars yi def but foofu la Sénégal sax in fact nañ fa dem comme que ñu ngi waxtaanee Sénégal because xam nga ne Madiambal Jagne dañ ko arrest in fan la in Paris so ñu ngi gis kayiti xibaar yëpp ñëpp a ngi ko dugal muy affaire boo xam ne nii affaire bu am solo la nañ ko seet yes tey suñ bokk la de parce que you know he is a veteran journalist yeah so journalist Madiambal Jagne has been arrested in France under an international arrest warrant issued by the Senegalese Financial Judicial Pool, which is the PJF, according to information from one of his lawyers, cited by the Seneweb. So that is the story. So he was accused of money laundering, criminal association, and public funds fraud linked to Ellipse Project International, a French infrastructure company that received multi-billion multi-billion CFA government contracts in Senegal. So his arrest marks a major development in the case that has already seen his wife and 2 sons and a close associate detained in Dakar. So, so following the allegations, first raised in the Court of Auditors, the report on questionable financial transactions involving his company. So he is arrested in France. For now, he escaped. He jël bim génné from bim fly to France and stuff like that. From he fly from Dakar. So many people were questioned. Some people were suspended, I guess. Some of out and stuff like that. So the thing is, will he be sent back to France? To Senegal, Dakar. Jabaram dinañ ko release and then ñaari doomam yi and his close associates. That's something else.
Affaire si daal mooy loolu. So I hope the law will take the necessary steps yi nga xamante ne yooyu la war a def investigations with regards to
luwa moom soo ko jalgatee waaye nag ñu bari ñu ngi ko defend because I spoke to someone mu ma doon wax kenn ku mu doon déglu which I cannot recall the name mu ngi explain ne all this were just mere accusations and the government because they just scared, they afraid ne he might leak some of these classified information so that might just be an opinion anyway, but according to what he said ne xam nga because dafa am secret yu bari yoo xam ne ni waa ji mu ko amee he's having some of these things, so they're afraid maybe he might leak 1 or 2 an issue of case yi Adji Sarr bi ak yooyu noonu yëpp bokk na ci dañ ko texeñ rek accuse ko of this, but whether that is true or not ñun xamuñ ci dara, but the only thing I know is ne he's been arrested and jabaram téye woon nañ ko, ñaari doomam téye woon nañ ko, his close associate tam téye woon nañ ko. And again in another development ñu ngi gis the French president Nicolas Sarkozy, former French president Nicolas Sarkozy has begun a 5-year prison sentence for conspiring to fund his 2007 election campaign with money from the late Libyan leader Mohamed Gaddafi. So Sarkozy is 70, entered La Santé prison in Paris on Sunday, becoming the first, French ex-president jailed since World War II. Oh, wow. Yeah, so he was convicted of criminal association, but cleared of personally receiving the funds. So he continues to deny wrongdoings and has lodged an appeal held in solidarity. Okay. Okay. Dem na police anyway, dem na prison, so ñu ngi seet lii dina mën a inspire other nations as well to send the ex-presidents to jail. we have the video. Haral control room dañu play video bi ñu seet ko because video mu ngi fa bi moo génn këram di dem si jail bi and stuff like that. Control room, if you have the video because send on nañ ko fa, then we can we see that please. Anyway, gis nga lu tëgg a tas. xam nga imaginal nguur nu mu neexee. nekkoon président nekkoon nguur toog ci donkaasi gi di noos dem ba wàcca joxe lenge yi ñu laa jël di la yóbbu kaso yal nañu ci yàlla mosal. moo tax kuy jiite ku ne. war ngaa bàyyi sa xel pour ëllëg. parce que soo si nekkee nag doo xelaat lu mel noonu parce que yow sa xel ci marine yi rek la moo doon. soo su neexee nangam ak nangam doo am serious because even seetal Chad the former president lan moo ko dal Al Bashir seetal keneen kii naka la Chad président bi tubaab far naa lan moo ko dal Sénégal la mujjee ñëw toog fa ñaata years several years so many years yaa ngi toog biir Sénégal fa nga jógee nekk fa ba after génn àddina mënuloo dellu sa biir dëkk xamatuloo dara biir Chad and stuff like that. We've seen ex-president Jammeh as well. kan ma waxoon Jammeh ne di nga jóge ci réew mi di nga am bés ñu la ooyee sax even ex-president gëm na ne dinañ ko ooyee parce que gëm na ne dina dee waaye ndax dina ñëw tey ndax moom mu ngi dund ba kanam di ko fekkee ñuy fal keneen ba pare di ko génne réew mi soo ko eewoon si ni loolu du ko wax. Even his supporters dem na ba foog ne sax moom réew mi dafa parce que dafa daan wax sax nag réew mi maa ko moom. non it's serious parce que li moo wone rek mooy soo jiitee su ñëpp jëlee dara jox la ne la lii yow yaay bomb yaay def nangam war nga cee bàyyi sa baax a baax parce que ëllëg si biir di nga génne keneen mooy ñëw toog néew na nga gis koo xam ne ni dina ñëw li nga defoon yëpp mën a baalal naa la réew mi yëpp ne baalal naa la néew na nga gis ko parce que dafa am ñoo xam ne xëy na am na ñoo xam ne yaaxa nga seen àdduna am na ñoo xam ne tey amatuñ papa amatuñ yaay te yaa leen ko xañ parce que yaa tax li tax ñu jógee fi mais ida yaa leen frustrate ida yaa leen tëj unlawfully ñu waste seen time yëpp si prison bi jógee fa amatuñ benn njëriñ ci society bi either they were murdered either they disappeared we cannot trace them anymore xamuñ fan lañ nekk either you caused them to abscond they went on exile ak bu mu ci mën a doon and then their families back home will be grieving ñooñu dañoo sonna dañoo jaaxle dañoo come on duñ la wis jaama yow so suñ demee bay def a national reconciliation ndax ñëpp dinañ la mën a jégal that's the point we will do it in the name of national reconciliation people will come out to say ne you're forgiven fa baalal nañ la am na koo xam ne mu ngi toog du xam ba ilaa yow mi din su doon dugg ci paxam sax du la baalal and then bàkkaar boobu da nga koo demaaleel parce que su dee li nga ko def jaarul yoon kooku sa diggante moom la yàlla yoonam ne ko ci yow yaa ko jégalu mu jégal la su la bu ta jégal kon fan nga dem moo tax daal na yal nañu yàlla may xoli muñ yal nañu yàlla defal jaama defal ñu tawféex defal ñu naataange defal ñu sutura ñuy bàyyi xel nag parce que li jàngat bu rëy la ñu bàyyi la nga ñëw ci loolu
yaa di nga ko waxee rek something nga xamante ne képp nga xam ne yaa ngi jiite being a president a director a minister or in any other position bi nga xamante ne jot nga say gis sa bopp nga doon jiite war ngaa bàyyi sa xel bu baax a baax with regards to loolu mu doon loo xamante ne ñu bëri wan nañ say jàngee pour mun a gis ne ëllëg ak si biir doo gis sa bopp in such a funny situation because kenn xamut ëllëg lu moo indi so it's very important loo munti def tey nga sóoraale ëllëg at the end of the day if things happen you find a way pour mun a gis ne you could sort out everything so lu jar a bàyyi xel la
waaw jar naa bàyyi xel la parce que waaye xam nga soo si tooloo nag doo ko dégga
yaa sa xel du si dee daj
sa xel du si dem comme tey dama la jox benn exemple comme tey maa si président Barrow yaa ngi toog si donkaasi gi nangam kon yow da nga war a jàngi ci loolu président Diomaye Faye da nga war a jàngi ci loolu
keneen ak keneen
da nga war a jàngi ci loolu parce que affaire boo xam ne la mooy li ma wax rek pour ñu jégal la ko dafa jafe te tamit affaire la boo xam ne pour nga jéng ci dafa
yomb
parce que doole lañ jël def ko sa biir loxo bi nga jël lépp loo xam ne ni yow yaa ko am lu la neex nga def ku la neex moo fee toog ku la neexul du fi toog soo xëyoon suba ne man rek maa bëgg a dox ci réew mi na ñëpp dem tëddi parce que da ngaa jël soldaar yëpp teg ci biir mbir ne la cofiw la nga annonce ñëpp dem tëdd seen kër yi yow nga génn dem sa yoon ñëpp defal la ko waaye nag soo gisee mu am solo mooy parce que réew mi ñun ñëpp ñoo am soxla réew mi kenn ku ci nekk da nga am soxla am loo xam ne ñun ñëpp suñ soxla la pour réew mi te ñun ñëpp mënuñ ca jógandoor dem def loolu soo li ñoo def mooy dañoo tànn kenn koo xam ne nii moom moo ñoo doxal loolu mooy waral su président jógee nga gis convoy bi ñëpp taxaw moom kenn mu romb parce que kooku si li moo dox suñ soxla la ñun ñëpp parce que ñun ñëpp dañ am soxla bëgg koo dox te ñëpp mënuñ ca génn dem doxee ko soo ñu ne dañ tànn kii mu jóg dem doxal ñu loolu am na loo xam ne soxlay réew mi la ci biti la nekk te ñun ñëpp mënuñ ta dem ci biti dem jëli ko dafa am koo xam ne moom la ñoo tànn mu dem ci biti di ñëw indi ko ci biir réew mi am na loo xam ne soxlay réew mi la ci biir réew mi la ne waaye fii lañ ko war a defaree te nii ak nii mooy tax mu mun a jag ñu ne dañoo tànn kenn jox ko su ko defee moom dem defal ko soo ñëpp mënuñ ta defandoor di same thing so moo tax ñuy am representatives understand so if they are there you are represented I am represented someone else is represented as well so loolu dafa nekk affaire boo xam ne affaire bu am solo la waaye tey xam naa dañoo teel a jeexal anyway parce que li ñoo def rek mooy ñu bàyyi la may mën a nga tàggatoo laata ñu dem.
Yes, thank you so much di jaajëfal képp nga xam ne jël na time am di seetaan li nga xamante ne moo nekk Morning Star bàyyi ko from Star TV di jaajëfal the entire team Binta ñoom jeena ba ñu leen a jaajëfal bu baax a baax di leen jox dig daje bi ëllëg incha allah continuer leen di seetaan di enjoy the rest of our programs
man ma jaajëfal leen ndax sa bos doy na.
suma
sa bos doy na ndax
soo mu ne jaajëfal gars yi mun nga koo def de.
man Abbas laay tàmbalee. gis naa ko bu téye kudu léegi de xam nga fan la mu ne.
kooku dafa bëgg a fi lekk.
man Abbas laay nuyu di nuyu Abbas bu baax may mun a it ñu ngi laa gërëm ci ànd bu rafet bi nga ànd ak ñun di gërëm ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk seen kër yi. di seetaan programme bi di ko taaxirlu sax surtout ñoo xam ne sax duñ ko tardé benn yoon ñu ngi leen a gërëm di leen jox seen wàccuwaay di wax rek ne incha allahu rabbi ëllëg dinañ dellusiwaat ak yéen waaye ñu nuyuwaat control room rek jaarale ko ci Abbas ñoom Jeynaba ak Binta Sissoko ñu ko nuyu bu baax di nuyu it suñ chairman bi di Haji Baniko di nuyu ñoom Alpha Karaga Kawsuba ji ñoom Paul Stevens Pereira di nuyu it Alassane Ba Mr Ba Baba yaa ngi bëgg a bëri de anyway dinañ dellusiwaat ak yéen ëllëg incha allahu rabbi thank you so much bye bye.